To my new subscribers, you all could learn something from this video. But to my day ones who stay down, do y'all remember when I did a review on this video and I tried to save this brother from marrying this woman?
You are the only one
A day in the life of a newly engaged 28-year-old. First, I'm getting ready for my Rowvember class at Row House. After I spread my bed, I'm writing my daily agenda on my whiteboard wallpaper. Staying hydrated is a huge part of my skin goals, which is key for my wedding prep. Now I'm off to Row House Parkland. If you're in South Florida, you should definitely come check out this location. I love that it's a mix of group exercises. We all row and swing, and it really feels like you're a part of something bigger than yourself. I checked off my rowing class from my agenda. Next, I'm having some overnight oats that I meal prepped, and now it's Zara time. This morning, she was trying to catch a squirrel.
Zara, you can't catch the squirrel.
She wasn't able to catch it, but I gave her a nice back rub while she was sunbathing. She also did some zoomies, so I think she's okay now. I took a shower, and I'm getting dressed in this high-waisted sweater skirt from Christine's Style Box. I'm gonna go downstairs and get some editing done, and no matter what I'm doing, I just like to look and feel put together. So having a rental subscription service like this one is honestly a game changer for me. Next, I'm having a fruit jar that I meal prepped. I went downstairs to the business center, got me a little chai latte, and now I'm getting some editing done. After a couple hours of editing, I had some cheesy chicken broccoli lunch that I meal prepped. I did some wedding planning while I was eating, and then I hopped on a call with my therapist, and now I'm on with my friend and fitness trainer, Shamaya.
You're gonna be hurting.
Oh boy.
I've actually been using a fitness plan that she designed for me since February, and she just added some changes for me because I have very specific fitness goals as I'm preparing for my wedding. Now I'm marking off these items from my daily agenda. Zara and I went on a quick walk, and now I'm putting her in the car because I'm dropping her off at my fiance's place. I have an event in New York City tomorrow, so I'll be gone all day. She is besties with my fiance, even though he might disagree. I told them both goodbye, and now I'm home flat ironing my hair. The only thing left on my agenda is to call my future mother-in-law. How do you guys keep yourself organized?
For every man, there's a woman.
And for every dummy, there's a dummy.
Look, one thing about a woman, she will always show you exactly who she is. As a man, all you have to do is pay attention to the signs. Bro, if you about to get married to a woman, you will want her dressing like this on TikTok, showing the whole world her ass, showing the whole world her body that is supposed to be sacred for you and you only as her husband. But here's the thing about a woman for the streets. The signs are always going to be there because they can't help themselves. It's their nature. They have to bring out that whole energy. They can't hide it. And that's one thing a woman can't hide, is that whole energy that's in her. Now, if you look at this entire video, this video is pretty much based on a woman who is showing the world that she got an ass. It's probably a fresh BBL. So of course she wants the world to see it, fellas. When a woman is doing things like this for attention, who you think she's trying to attract? She's trying to attract the wolves. When a woman is serious about marriage, she conducts herself a certain way. She acts like a wife. She dresses like a wife. You don't have to question yourself about it. But if your girl is showing her body and things like that on social media, homie, she is for the streets. It's like, fellas, y'all gotta be wise out here, fam. A woman will always show you exactly who she is. And as a man, you should never ignore the signs, because whenever a man ignores the signs, he is going to regret it later on. But this right here is a sad situation based on the fact that all the signs are there. But I just hope one day we don't have to revisit this video after they get married. This is crazy.
A few moments later.
So why am I getting divorced after a year and a half?
I mean, what can I say? I told you so. But the signs were there from the jump. Fellas, don't matter how hard you try, you can't save a bird.
I got married at 28 and I'm 29 and I'm currently getting a divorce. And I owe it to you guys to explain to you why I'm getting a divorce, because over 10 million of you guys watched me get married last year across Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and a lot other wedding content that I put out. I'm a lifestyle creator, and so, you know, you're gonna see my life, the ups, the downs, all of it. It is just a part of the process. But the reason why I do want to share why I'm getting divorced is because I got married to a narcissist unknowingly, and it was all built upon a lie. And I started talking about this on Threads and on my Twitter account, and I shared some of that to my Instagram stories. And since sharing that, I've gotten hundreds of DMs from women who are in the same situation or who have been in that situation. And so many of them have told me, I'm so grateful that you've been talking about this and that you've been transparent about this, because I didn't have the strength to leave. Now that I'm seeing that you are leaving so soon as well, I'm now inspired to leave. I do want to talk about this specifically when it comes to the narcissistic abuse part, because you don't even realize it's happening to you while it's happening to you. For so many of us, we just didn't even know what was happening while it was happening. I'm going to share as much as I can. And I think it's also important for us to remember that there's a difference between narcissistic personality disorder and having narcissistic traits, okay? Those are two different things. So let's start from the beginning. So in 2020, I met my husband on Hinge, and I was living in New York City at the time, and I was working from home. I was working on Wall Street, and I was pretty isolated. Here comes my husband on Hinge, and he looks great, and he seems like a pretty decent guy, and he really sold himself as like this faith-based guy and like really serious with like really good intentions. And I bought it. Now he was going to be starting a job on Wall Street as well at a different firm, and I like the fact that he was already in the industry, so he understood my work schedule, because I really did have a demanding schedule. Again, very normal guy, seemingly decent guy. The relationship is good to start. Towards the end of 2020, I started to pick up on the fact that our values weren't really aligned, and especially when it came to faith, there were some things that weren't adding up, right? So I did let him know that, hey, I think we should break up. I think we should part ways, because we're just not aligned. Now, he accepted it at first, but then he kept trying to message me, get back with me, and saying, I really don't understand, I really miss us, and all that. And then he starts to mention the fact that there's a ring fund, because, he sees me as his future wife, that he's already gained 14% on. And I remember saying to him, like, I'm sorry, what does that have to do with anything? And so that is an example of, I think it's called love bombing. I am somebody who had a narcissistic parent. So I grew up on gaslighting. I grew up on manipulation. I grew up on love bombing. So that feels familiar to me. I didn't really have the language for what exactly my soon-to-be ex-husband was doing at the time. But now that I do have the language for it, I see it for what it was, right? If you have broken up with somebody, they seemingly accept it, but then they're coming back and they're like, okay, but I have 14% on a ring fund, right? They're trying to like lure you back in, right? They're trying to talk about all these things that they do for you or what they're doing for you to try to lure you back in. Now, I was resistant to his efforts. At the beginning of 2021, I do start a new job, and that job is actually at the firm that he's working at in a different capacity, but we've been broken up. We're still cordial. Now, he's still trying to get back with me. He's inserting himself in a way that's friendly, but like also clearly like he regrets that, we parted ways. Again, I'm focusing on my new job. I'm just focusing on like getting my life together. He does become a source of support for me as I'm in this new job, because he's already familiar with this firm. He knows how to support people, and like he really is just a great friend to have. My birthday's in July, and yes, we're friends, we're not together, but he totally inserted himself into my birthday in a way that was like, I'm her man, got me a cake and everything. And like, I appreciated all of those efforts, because at the end of the day, like, it's great to have somebody who is looking out for you and all those things. But again, I wasn't cognizant of the fact that like boundaries were not in place, right? And this is something that you have to be very aware of as a young woman when you're dealing with these men. Like, if you have broken up with somebody, right, there is no reason why they should still be coming around in that capacity. And if they keep coming around under the guise of friendship, right, because they love and care about you deeply as a friend, you need to be very careful. Because I was very convinced that, okay, he keeps showing up and he's just around because like, he just cares deeply about me. And he just wants to be the person that's there for me. Now, despite the fact that we're broken up, anybody who has shown any kind of interest in me, anyone who he knows is interested in me, he's creating obstacles for these people. He would want to spend like every waking moment of the weekend with me, and I just had zero space. This is another sign that you are dealing with a narcissist. They do not give you any space. Keep in mind, the job that I had at this time on Wall Street, I was working at the desk from 6:30 a.m. until roughly about like 6:30 p.m., right? So I'm 12 hours on the desk, Monday to Friday, and every waking minute of the weekend, he would want to spend time with me. I don't really like people like that. I like my space. I do believe that I am an introvert, and I really do need to recharge, especially when I'm in an office setting and when I'm around people for so long. Like, I need like to decompress, right? I'm blessed now that I work from home and I don't need to like recharge as much, but I really needed my space. Now it is fall of 2021, and he is really lobbying, really pushing that we get back together. And he's even convinced another one of my friends, that he really loves me, he really sees a future with me, and, you know, for me to give him a chance. He's very, very, very convincing. Like, this man, he could sell you anything. He is really good. He puts on a great show. And even my friend is like, wow, like, I don't know any guy who's ever loved you this much. Like, this man is, he is so committed. And I'm like, yep, that is true. And I'm like, you know what? I'll give him a chance. We did get back together.
That shit is crazy.
Fellas, understand something. If you meet a woman and she's chasing clout on social media, that's a woman who needs a storyline. So if she involves you on her social media, she's now using you for content. And that's a woman who is chasing attention. As you guys know, attention is a drug to birds. It fuels their ego. And as a man, you got to be aware, because here's the reality. The thing about a bird is this. Once a bird is done using a man, her job now is to try her best to destroy that man's image. If you go to this bird page, you will still see the wedding videos up. Why? Because it's content. Now, the thing about a real woman, a virtuous woman, she will never put her relationship on social media. But once you meet a woman and she's using your relationship for content, bro, she's just using you, and it's just a matter of time. This situation was very obvious. She's who she is. And if you listen to her, she left this man for no apparent reason, to the point where she's now reaching. I mean, I can't say he's a cheater. What can I say? He's a narcissist. That's an excuse for using this man for content, for playing this man for a fool and doing this. But it is what it is. Birds are predators, okay? She found her a simp. She used him, drained his energy, power up, and what? Now she's back in the streets. Fellas, y'all better open your eyes out here, bro. It's not a game. It's not a game, bro. Pay attention to the signs. A bird is always chasing attention, clout. If you meet a woman and she's showing her body on Instagram, that's a woman who's searching for validation. That's a woman who's going to constantly need attention. Not from you. Understand that. But if you like what you see, she's going to rope you in, use you, then dismiss you. Because if you go to this woman's TikTok page, she's half naked. Come on, I keep telling y'all, these women are who they are, bro. Pay attention to a woman's soul. Pay attention to her spirit. Pay attention to her energy. Do not be a weak man and pay attention to her image. That is surface. You got to figure out who is behind that image that she's portraying. You got to figure out if she's a righteous woman, but you got to make it make sense. If a woman is righteous and she's about to get married and she's half naked, that doesn't make sense. Why? Because a real woman who wants to be a wife understands that her body is a temple. It's not for the world. It's for my husband. It's for my husband. But a bird body is for the world. And you got to understand, we live in a society now where I keep telling y'all, if a bird starts a TikTok or Instagram, she's going to get a very huge following because she's going to be giving other birds hope. The majority of women out there are birds. The Bible says a man who finds a wife finds a good thing. Why you think that is? Because a good woman is rare. The majority of these women out here are birds. They are chasing attention and validation. But you got to pay attention to their spirit, fellas. Open your eyes out here, man. Don't be a victim and learn from this situation, bro. Fellas, be wise out here. For real.
If you haven't yet, go get you some of that merch. Y'all already know. Don't feed the birds. That's what it is. We don't feed the birds over here. So if you rock with your boy, go get you some of that good merch.